Hi there, Mark Butcher here. I'm locked in a bio bubble in Chennai. Uh, so I thought, well, we were supposed to do a bunch of gigs after the album Now Playing was released back in 29, so April, May of last year. Obviously that got kiboshed, so didn't get out there to play the album, but lots of you have been listening to it anyway, so thanks for that. Thought I'd just give everybody a run through of kind of where the tunes come from, how we recorded them, etc. So here it is. Track was called Daybreak. It was the last thing we recorded actually, and the only one we didn't record together as a band down at Smiley's place in Fleet, Sunshine Corner. And because it was the last, we thought it would be a cool idea to put it on first. That tune was, it sort of came to me. I was sat on an aeroplane, waiting for takeoff, doom scrolling through Twitter and stuff about, I don't know, Trump and various other political related shenanigans, and the sun kind of like burst in through the little portal windows in the aeroplane, and the sort of the lyric, before we'd taken off, the lyric was kind of 3/4 of the way done. It just kind of appeared. It happens like that sometimes. Very sort of positive, really. Just sort of, we're going to get through all this. It will get better. Stand up for the daybreak. Right on.
I step out of the shadows and racing dreams. Open up to the daybreak. Stand up for the daybreak. I step out of the shadows.
Track 2 was, or is, country, and it kind of started off, as a bit of an, Island Records reggae skank, like. From my village, was I stripped and told to roll? But Andy Lewis, who sort of was on production duties along with Pete Twyman, thought it might be a good idea if we sort of changed it up a little bit and made it a bit more, a bit more strident. So he came up with a sort of the woodcutter's son, Faith type beat, and that was how country was born. I mean, the lyric was something that I'd been sort of looking into, sort of slavery and sort of like the ancestral path, I suppose, of my mum's side of the family, and got to sort of thinking about how their ancestors more than likely would have started off in West Africa and would have gone, ended up in the West Indies, in the Americas, and then, how eventually my grandparents ended up back in Britain, and that whole thing about when people ask second, third generation people from the Caribbean or from Asia, etc., where you from, and they say, well, Croydon, mate, and they say, no, where are you really from? And I guess the lyric was reflecting all of those different things.
I wasn't stolen from my village, nor was I stripped and forced to row. I wasn't trained next to my brother in the arms of hell below. And I was born and raised in this country.
Track 3 on Now Playing, it was a tune that was originally called Roll 'Em, and it was written almost immediately after I retired from playing professional cricket back in 2009. Pretty self-explanatory when you know that. It was kind of no idea what I'm going to do next. I've got to take a bit of a chance, take a leap into the unknown, and kind of see where life takes you. And that was the premise behind that. Very, very cool horn section that my producer and now musical soulmate Pete Twyman came up with in that one. which is very cool. Sort of always reminded us of sort of, I don't know, 70s cop car chases or something. Track number 4 is Hate to See You Cry. I wrote that around about the same time that we were recording Songs from the Sun House, back with my dear friend, dearly departed Matt Taylor. And it had just kicked around forever. It was kind of like a soul, gospel, O.V. Wright, Robert Cray type thing. And the lyric was kind of like a letter to my younger self, I suppose. And it just had that sort of, that real soul vibe about it. Anyway, when we got the band together to play it down at Smiley's in Fleet, it sort of took on a slightly different feel, I suppose. It sort of sounded a little bit harder, a little bit more British, I guess. And I think it came out great,
Did you ever feel a strong desire to walk away from love into the fire, knowing you'd never find your way back home again?
Track 5 on side 1 is a tune called Civil War. I was messing about with a looper pedal, I'm no Ed Sheeran or anything like that, but I was just messing about because I had this little riff, and as you go, which was sort of like knocking around in my head, and so I kept playing that over and over again, and then finding a harmony with it and whatever, and it became sort of the basis of the tune Civil War. Track number 6 on side 1 is called The Darkest Night, and it's the first track on the album that was not written by myself. I mentioned him once or twice, Pete Twyman, who produced it and played some excellent guitar and stuff, and basically kind of found the vibe for the album in terms of the production. This is one of his songs. I found out sort of after performing it that it was about it wasn't about sort of some lost love or something. It was about addiction, like battling against alcoholism, funnily enough, which gave it a sort of a whole new twist. This jaunty tune and whatever, and it's got pretty dark subject matter.
Without you, it's the darkest night. I used to see your shining lights. Now all I see are empty skies, emptiness in your eyes.
So, final track on side 1 is Still in Love. Slow blues, really. But one of my favourite parts of the recording process, down at Smiley's at Sunshine Corner. We played most of the tracks as a 4-piece, so me on guitar and guide vocals, Smiley on drums, Andy Lewis on bass, and Alex Lee Riches on keyboards. And so, Smiley's behind the glass in the booth, and we're all out on the floor. And Smiley's playing the beaters all the way through the sort of verses, and then you get to the middle 8, and it breaks out, which I just remember everybody, huge smiles on everybody's faces.
Remember we held each other on the beach. Out of my heart in your hand. It's just everything about you, baby.